It's been like one of those weeks for me, where like my brain is just kind of a little bit of everywhere. That was way too far. All right. So, as usual, that comfortable starting position can be wherever you would like to start your practice this evening, whatever that initial range of motion is going to be, what's going to feel good for you. So we'll start with our scan of the body, starting from the top of the head and moving to the tips of the toes. As you take that scan, all you're doing is noticing how you're feeling this evening, noticing what's going on in your body, where those points of tension are. Maybe there's something that's a little extra sore or tired. Maybe there's something that feels particularly good this evening. As you complete that scan, I want you to go through the body one more time and see if you can find that little bit of extra release of tension. So maybe when you build that stress, the shoulders hike up towards the ears, maybe letting them just relax a little bit further. Maybe it's something down through the fingers or the toes. Maybe it's the muscles in the jaw. Whatever it is that holds that tension for you, take just an extra moment and see if you can release it just a little bit more, just that active release of the muscles. As soon as you complete that, I invite you to take any initial range or ranges of motion or stretch that will feel good for you to start your practice this evening. So as usual, you've got a million options. You can do something that we typically do all together, and you'd like to just get a little bit more of it in. Maybe it's something that we don't do as part of our warm-up, but is going to feel really good. Maybe it's just as simple as sitting and becoming present on your mat in your comfortable seated position. Wherever you need to be to start your practice. We'll have a little bit of time here. We'll have 6 or 8 nice deep breaths just to feel it out, find your range of motion, and start off our practice on the right foot this evening. And taking about 2 or 3 more nice deep breaths. So if you're in a range of motion that's two-sided, feel free to find one more time in each direction. If you're in just a stretch, just find those final couple of nice deep breaths and then make your way out of it. If you're working on something else or something that's not two-sided, then finishing off that last nice deep breath and go ahead and meet me in our comfortable seated position. We're going to start same as we always do from the top with the head and the neck. So once you get to that comfortable seat, that next inhale finds that super long spine. That exhale drops the chin to the chest, lengthening through the back of the neck. As always, you can reach down towards the mat and then from here a couple times in each direction at your own pace. Right here towards that right shoulder, open up through the left side of the neck. That exhale draws you back down through center. And then that inhale takes that opposite side, that left ear towards the left shoulder. So go ahead a couple times in each direction. As always, you can take any of these a little slower or faster if that feels good. So if you need a little extra time in one direction, feel free to take it. Fabulous. Go to one more time each way. When you finish that second direction, that final time, go ahead and exhale, drop the chin back to the chest. And then inhale, lift the head back up nice and long. We'll go right into our shoulder circles. We've got some good plank work, some good push-up work. So getting those shoulders started off with a couple of nice big circles. Either direction is fabulous. To start, we will switch. So taking a couple here. Give me 2 more in that first direction and then switch it up. Same thing other way. And give me 2 more in that second direction. And then just go ahead and relax and release those shoulders nice and low away from the ears. Lateral stretch as usual up next. So with your next big inhale, go ahead and take those arms out and up. Pause for just a moment at the top here for me. Find that nice big stretch. Maybe you interlace those fingers and press the palms up. Maybe you grab one wrist or the other and just press up. Maybe look up towards the hands. Maybe keep the head at neutral. One more nice big stretch. One more big inhale. And then let's take it lateral. Exhale takes that right hand down. That left arm reaches up towards the ceiling. Left hip grounded into the mat. A couple times in each direction at your own pace. Inhales pulling you through center. Exhale side to side. Got lots of good core and oblique work coming as well. So I'm excited, but getting the core warmed up here. Nice big stretch. Go ahead one more time in each direction. As always, feel free to find that third change of direction to even up. When you finish this, we're going to go right into our spinal twist. So you can take it right from that last one onto that inhale, up to that long spine, and then one arm comes forward and other arm comes backwards around behind the back. Go ahead right into our spinal twist a couple times at your own pace, side to side. Inhale's pulling you through center as always. Arms can come high or they can stay low. Exhale takes you in that second direction. So just a few times here as you finish off that lateral stretch and move into that spinal twist. Excellent. Let's go ahead one more time in each direction. Finishing off with that second side, that final time. When you finish it out, just go ahead and come back to that nice neutral. Long spine, shoulders relaxed nice and low away from the ears. All right, we aren't going to do a ton of lower body, but we do have a little balance. So let's give ourselves a little bit of a lower body warm up. One leg stays folded in, other leg comes out nice and long. We're going to go one time down in each direction, and then we'll take our 2 times down the center. So inhale to that long spine. You can take those arms up overhead if you'd like to. Exhale, folds us forward, fingertips towards the shin, the ankle, the toes, wherever you can reach to. Finding that nice stretch through that hamstring. We'll have a little bit of time in our down dog, so taking a moment to just get it warmed up a little before we put the body weight pressure on it. Give me just one more nice deep breath in this first direction. You're following. Inhale rolls you up, and let's switch sides. Same thing other way. Same thing. You can take the arms up overhead if you'd like, or just keep them low. And then hinge at those hips, fold it forward. Fingers towards the shin, the ankle, the toes, wherever you can reach to. Find that nice deep stretch in that second direction. And go ahead and find one more nice deep breath here. That next inhale rolls you back up. Nice long spine at the top. And then we're going to go down the center. Same as we've been doing. You get to choose that foot positioning. So wherever you would like to be for down the center, maybe both legs are out long. Maybe they're in that straddle position. If you are in that straddle, maybe it's hands down the center, out to the side. Maybe you're in your butterfly. Whatever works for you. We're going to go into it twice. Inhale to your long spine. And then exhale to fold into it, folding forward. Again, fingertips towards the shins, the ankles, the toes. Maybe if you're in that butterfly, the hands stay on the ankles and you give that little bit of pressure through the elbows. Maybe if you're out in that straddle, you just reach right down the center. Give me one more nice deep breath here. Excellent. Next inhale rolls us up. A little bit shorter for this second one, but if you'd like to make an adjustment, find a different leg position, feel free to. Inhale to your long spine and exhale to fold it forward. Maybe you're in the same leg position because it feels really good, and that's fabulous. That's totally fine. And give me one more nice deep breath here in this second fold. All right, from here, we're gonna do a little seated cat and cow. So I'm gonna turn sideways so you can see me. We're gonna bend those knees and plant those feet. And we're gonna go ahead and place those hands behind those hips, open through the chest, pull the shoulder blades together, a little pressure down into those palms. Exhale, rounds it forward, fingertips towards the front, opening up the shoulders, opening up the spine. And let's just go twice more in each direction. Inhale, hands behind the hips, open through the chest, pull the shoulder blades together. Exhale, rounds it out. And one more time, inhale, open through the chest. And exhale, rounds it out. From there, we're going to take it over to hands and knees and find some bird dogs to get the core and the spine warmed up because we do have a lot of work through there. So bringing it on over, make the transition that feels good for you right onto that hands and knees. Wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. We're going to start with that right arm and that left leg. We're going to inhale to lift and extend. And we're going to exhale to pull the elbow and knee towards each other. A couple times in this first side. Looking for lots of length from fingertips to toes or fingertips to that heel, not necessarily looking so much for lift, but we want to look for length. And working on that core activation, especially as you pull in towards center, feeling this a little bit through the spine, through the shoulder, through the glutes as we extend. Give me one more time in this first direction. When you finish that one, go ahead and set that right hand and left knee down, and let's go opposite, left hand and right leg. Inhales, find that nice extension, that length, that activation. Exhales, pull us in towards center. Couple times here on this second side. Again, we're really looking for that length, not that lift. Fabulous, fabulous. Give me two more on this second side. When you finish those last two, go ahead and set that right knee and left hand down. We're gonna make our way into our child's pose up next. Knees nice and wide, hips back towards the heels, arms come out long, press the chest down towards the mat. From here, we're going to take it into our puppy pose. So I want you to lift those hips right up over top of those knees, pull those knees underneath if you took them wider, and then walk those hands back out, pressing the chest down towards the mat. So that kind of modified version, not our child's pose because those hips are high, but same kind of concept. And then let's take this into our spinal twist. The right arm is going to lift up off the mat. You can lift it up towards the ceiling if you'd like. And then it's going to thread through underneath until we can place that right shoulder down on the mat. The back of that right hand is on that other side, and left arm stays out long. Just one nice deep breath. When you're done with that breath, once again, you can lift to release if you'd like, fingertips up towards the ceiling, and then replace that right hand and bring it through with that left. So same thing, you can lift if that feels okay. And then we're going to thread through down underneath, left shoulder meets the mat, top of that left hand, back of that left hand meets as we come into that second side spinal twist. One more nice deep breath here. And then to release, same thing. You can just come back to center, or you can find that lift and lower. Placing those hands back down on the mat one more time in our puppy. Pressing the chest down, finding that nice stretch for the chest, for the shoulders. And then let's take it up to our downward facing dog. Lift the hips, curl the toes under, press the hips up and back. Take your time here, maybe pedal out those heels. Find that nice lower body stretch. Find that core activation. So don't let the core just relax in this stretch, but rather pulling those hips up, pulling that belly button in towards the spine. And from here, we're going to make our way to the back of our mat. So I want you to walk those hands back towards those feet. You can bend those knees as you get to that position where you need to, and find that forward fold at the back of your mat. And then that next inhale is going to roll us all the way up to our extended mountain, taking it up. Arms come up overhead when you get to the top. And then exhale, brings the arms down and around. Fabulous. This is where we're going to initiate our practice, but if you need a sip or another range of motion before we get started, feel free to take it as we take two nice deep breaths here and settle into that mountain pose. If you don't have another sip or a range of motion that you'd like to take, just finding that nice, strong, stable mountain pose, shoulders low away from the ears, hands at that hip width. All right. We're going to take our Pilates push-ups here to get us started. As always, I'd prefer you find full range of motion and modify your push-ups, then find half range of motion from those toes. So take that how you will. We're going to start with a nice deep breath, big inhale to take those arms up overhead. When you get to the top, that next exhale is going to take us into our forward fold, fingertips towards the toes. Taking just a moment in that forward fold. Alrighty, from here, we've got to make our way into our plank. So we're going to inchworm it out. I want you to bend the knees until the fingertips can touch the ground. Forward, plant those palms, and then walk it out nice and long. When you get to that high push-up plank position, each of these, we're going to do 3 push-ups. So again, toes or knees, find 3 push-ups with good form. Chest comes all the way down to the mat. Exhale presses us back up. When you finish those 3, if you did drop those knees like I did, go ahead and bring them back up and bring it back to that plank position. And then we're going to do that in reverse. We're going to inchworm it in so those hips come up as those hands walk back. Lots of shoulder work there in that one until you need to plant those feet, bend those knees back into that fold. Now I'm going to use my deep breaths to come all the way up and back down. You can stay low if you'd prefer. So same thing, we're going to do it twice more. With each one, we're still doing all 3 of those push-ups. So when you get to those fingertips towards the toes again, after that breath, walk it out. High push-up plank position, toes or knees, 3 push-ups. Exhale, presses us up off that mat. If you drop those knees, lift them back up, and then walk it back in. This is the last time we'll walk it back in here, because on this last one, we're going to hold our plank when we finish our push-ups. So again, I'm going to come all the way up and back down. You can stay low. When you make your way back down, fingertips towards the toes, go ahead and walk it out. Take your 3 push-ups, and then meet me in that high push-up plank position. So rather than inchworming it back in, we're going to meet in our plank. All right, fabulous. From that plank position, we're going to do a little 3-part here. We're going to start with a little glute extension. So heel lifts up, squeeze that glute. Either one is fabulous. We will do both sides. From here, I want you to keep those hips low and pull it under. If you started with that right leg lifting, it's going to go towards that left elbow and vice versa. So underneath and towards that opposite elbow. And then lift back up. So back into that glute extension, hips stay low. And then towards that same side elbow, that outside elbow. One more time each direction. Glute extension, across underneath. Glute extension, and then across same side. And then step it back into that high push-up plank. If you need a little break, give yourself a second, set it back. We're going to do that same thing on the other side. All right, so when you're ready, twice in each direction, opposite leg, glute extension, cross underneath. Glute extension, same side. Glute extension, one more time each way. Cross underneath, extend, and same side. When you finish that one, that leg goes back out to meet, chaturanga all the way to the mat. Elbows come back, bring it down, let the chest relax, let the tops of those feet meet, cobra or baby cobra. Press the chest up. You can peel it up to that baby cobra or press it up to that full cobra. Whew, nice stretch for that core front there. We're going to take it back through our child's pose. So lift those hips up and over, take those knees wide, send the hips back towards the heels. Little stretch for those shoulders now. And then back to our downward facing dog. Lift the hips, curl the toes under, press the hips up and back. Very nice, very nice. All right, here we go. We got a 3-legged dog. Right foot is going to press up and back. Little stretch. We're going to bend the left knee and sweep the right leg forward. We're going to make our way towards our crescent lunge. So sweeping it forward, planting that foot down. Find that nice bend in that knee. Find your balance. Bring it up to your crescent. Nice long torso. Still that nice bend in that right knee. Left leg as long as it can go for those hip flexors. From here, let's go ahead and hinge forward at the hips. We're taking it to our warrior 3. So our balance pose on that right leg. I want you to take that weight over that right leg. If this is where your warrior 3 is today, that's fabulous. That's totally fine. If you're ready to lift it up, you can bring it up a little bit. Just keep those hips square to the mat. Maybe those hands come in towards heart center if that's bothering the shoulders. We're here for just another nice deep breath. Rather than setting that foot down, I want you to come to a knee lift. So we're going to sweep it under, lift the torso, left knee lifts. And this is how we're going to make our transition down to the mat. I'm going to bend my right knee and send my left knee down towards the mat. So kneeling it down from there. Use whatever support you need to get down, and then bring that right knee down to meet it. We're bringing it over onto our butts. So go ahead and sweep those legs to the side, sit it down, and bring them around. All right, here we go. A little bit more core work. Let's take it into our boat. Lean it back. Take those arms out nice and long. Heels can be down, or knees can be up, or legs can be long. All right, if you do not have those legs long here, I've got a little bit of a challenge for you, so we can start to work our way up towards that. Whether the heels are down or up, we're going to alternate. We're going to lengthen one leg, little hold, and then bring it back down, and then lengthen the other, little hold, and back down. So we're working those hip flexors, whether those heels are up or down. Either way, it's a lengthen, and then a bend at that knee. Keep that core nice and strong. Keep it right there for me. Wherever you are in this, we're here for 3, 2, 1. I want you to bend those knees, plant those heels, sit it up nice and tall, lengthen those arms. Super slow and controlled. We're going to roll it on down. So I want you to take it vertebrae by vertebrae. Really resist gravity as you make your way down to the mat. When you reach the mat, take those arms up overhead. We're going to do 2 full Pilates roll-ups. Your exhale circles those arms around. We roll it up, nice and controlled. Find that long spine with your inhale at the top. Exhale rolls us back down. We're going to do that one more time. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale rolls us up. And same as that first one on this way down, resist gravity. Take it nice and slow. Super slow all the way to the mat. When you get there, pull those knees into the chest. Give yourself a second. Let's take those legs back out nice and long. Take those arms up overhead. All right, we're going to do kind of an alternating movement here, but we're going to do 2 movements for each side. So it's going to be an elbow to knee and then a fingertips to toes. You've got 2 options here depending on the difficulty that you want. Our elbow to knee is going to be opposite sides, so just like our bicycle might be, my left elbow goes towards my right knee. That's your first option, is to keep the whole rest of the body on the floor. Second option is to kind of turn it into a half sit-up or that full sit-up here. So I'm going to come, excuse me, up off the mat to my hip, even as I bring my elbow towards my knee. Second movement, first option, fingertips to toes. Again, torso, body stays on the floor. We're still finding that stretch. We're finding that core work, that cross body oblique. Second option, same concept, comes all the way up into that kind of half V sit. We'll then set it down and go to that other side. So it's going to be elbow to knee, fingertips to toes. Here we go. Whichever option you choose is fabulous. Maybe you alternate. Maybe one of these works a little better for you. So you do elbow to knee from the floor, and then that exhale brings you up into that kind of half V sit on those hips. Maybe neither comes up off the floor, and that's totally fine. Keeping it moving, alternating sides, work those obliques, use your breath, use your breath. You guys are doing awesome. You're doing awesome. We're going to get a little core front break after this, just a tiny one. We're in this half and half for another 4, 3, 2, and 1. Fabulous. Bend those knees, plant those feet. Bend those knees, plant those feet. We get a core front break, but not a break from our work. Let's take it into a glute bridge. Press those hips up nice and high. I want you to squeeze through those glutes. I want you to really dig those toes into the ground. So pressing down while we press the hips up. Press those palms down into the floor, down into the mat. Press the back of the head into the mat. Pull the belly button in towards the spine. Get those glutes working here. So I want this to be super activated. Even if you do a million glute bridges a day, I want this to be working super hard just because we've got that muscular activation. Very nice, very nice. We're here for another 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead and send those hips back down. Take those legs out long, right down the center. And we're going to sit it up. So I'm just going to use a little momentum to roll it back up to my seated position. All right, so we've got those legs long. We're going to do a little hip flexor work. You've got some options for difficulty here. One thing to make this just inherently immediately more difficult is going to be to give yourself a little bit of an angle. So just kind of like your Russian twist might be, a little lower is going to be a little bit harder. Hip flexor work, we're going to isolate those legs. I'm starting with my feet right down the center. I'm going to lift my right foot up as high as I can get it without bending that knee. Tap it to the outside of my mat. Bring it back to center, tap it down. Same thing with the left. High and over, and then back to center. From here, we're going to do a little knee toward the center, a little bit of a core work in the middle. So just pulling those knees up into that kind of boat and then sending them back down. Keep moving right like that. So we got that right and that left. And then those knees come in. If you need this to be a little easier, plant those hands or sit it up a little bit taller. Keeping it working right like that. I want you to get as much range as you can. Lift those toes straight up towards the ceiling, up and over. Awesome, you guys are doing great. You're doing great. Wherever you are, give me one more complete rep. So finish the one that you're on, and then one more complete one. Right leg, left leg, and then down the center. When you finish that, fold it forward. Fingertips towards the shins, the ankles, the toes. Nice stretch for the spine. All right, we're gonna reverse the way that we got down from here. So I want you to sit it up nice and tall. Circle those legs around, and we're bringing it up to that tall kneeling position. Tall kneeling position. Don't stand it up yet. We've got one more thing in between now and the end of this flow before we hit the other side. All right, we're gonna do 3 of these because I love my sets of 3. We're gonna start from a kneel. We're gonna bring it up to a squat. You can add a jump if you'd like, and then we're gonna bring it back down to a kneel. So I'm gonna keep those hips bent. I'm gonna keep that knee bent. I'm gonna bring 1, 2 in front. Use my arms for a little support. Use my core for a little support. Stay low in that squat. If you feel good, little jump squat. If you don't, keep it low, and then step it back down, back to those knees, right down there. Lead with the same foot for 3 of those, and then we'll switch. Nice soft landing if you find that jump. So technically it's 6, but still our multiple of 3. Lead with that same foot up. So I'm starting with my right going up. That was my third. So now I'm going to switch to my left. Use that core. Use those legs. When you finish that third, don't bring it all the way down back to those knees. So keep it standing. Keep it standing. On that third one, on that second side. Right back into that squat, and then stand it up. Whew. Very nice, very nice. Finishing that out. Take your time, take your time. Let's make our way to the back of our mat once you finish that third one. All right, great opportunity. Grab a sip, find a range of motion. If you've got something that's feeling a little weird, go ahead and find that range. Grab your sip, shake it out a little bit. We're doing it again. We've got one more time through with us. Whew. Alrighty. Back to the top with our Pilates push-ups. So still our sets of 3. We're gonna do 3 of them. So starting from the back, starting from the top, that inhale takes those arms out and up towards the ceiling. Exhale takes us into our fold. When you get to the bottom, bend those knees, walk it out, high push-up plank position. 3 push-ups, toes or knees. Find that nice range of motion. Exhale to press up. When you finish it, walk it back in. And then same options as before. You can find your nice deep breath at the bottom here. You can roll it all the way up and back down. Choose the one that works better for you. Don't make yourself lightheaded if that's what coming up and back down that quickly does to you. So we've got 3 of those. And remember, on the third one, when you finish, we're going to meet in that plank. So don't walk it back in. You guys are doing great. I've got one more set in me here. If you're moving a little faster or slower, stick with me. Keep going. Look, sorry. When you finish that third, on that third round, meet me in that high push-up plank. Very nice, very nice. All right, you guys, we've got that glute extension to that knee underneath. If you're finishing those push-ups, join us when you're ready. One leg is going to come up, and then we're going to come across and under. And remember, we've got 2 in each direction, 2 in each direction. Same as before. If those shoulders are ready for a little break at the end of that first one, give them a little break, send it back, and then take it into that second side. If you're ready for that challenge, keep it up in that plank. Keep working on that glute extension to that kind of half mountain climber. When you finish that second side, and take your time if you're moving a little slower than me, that's totally fine. We've got our chaturanga to our cobra. So we'll all meet in our cobra or our baby cobra. And as always, those elbows can certainly stay bent, and you can stay in that cobra if you'd like. Let's take it to our child's pose. Hips back towards the heels, arms out nice and long. Give those shoulders a little stretch. And let's take it to our downward facing dog. Lift those hips, curl those toes under, or press those hips up and back. Nice active position here. Left leg, three-legged dog. Press it up. We're taking it to our crescent. When you get to the top, bend that right knee. Sweep that left leg underneath. Plant that foot. Find your balance. Find your core. Sweep it up. We're going to settle into this for just a moment. So again, if you're still kind of catching up here, take your time. Bring it into it. That nice bend in that left knee. You guys are doing great. We are almost there. Let's take this to our warrior three. Hinge at those hips. Take that weight over that left leg. Again, if this is right where you are, if the foot is just still kind of using it for support, that's fine. If you're a little closer towards that parallel, that is also fine. Just keep those hips even with the floor. Don't open them up. Keep them down. Give me one more nice deep breath, and then we've got our knee lift. So big inhale and exhale. And then we're going to lengthen the torso and lift that right knee up. Still a little more balance. Ooh. All right, and remember, this is how we're taking it down to the floor. So I'm going to bend that left knee, bring that right knee down to our kneel. Left knee comes around. And then let's bring it over to our boat pose. Got to finish out with a little more core front work. As promised, lots of core front, lots of hip flexors. All right, fabulous. Let's take it into our boat. Heels down, heels up, or legs long. Either way is fine. If you're looking for that extra challenge with those knees bent, you can start right away with that alternating lift and lower, whether those heels are up or down. As always, a little taller. It's going to be a little easier, especially on your lower back if you start to feel it round out. Keep it safe. You guys are doing fabulous. Very nice, very nice. If you're doing that alternating, give me one more lift on each side. And then we're going to take our roll down. Plant those heels, arms nice and long, super slow and controlled. Roll it on down to that mat. Take as much time as you can. Whew, when you hit the bottom, we've got two more full roll-ups. So inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale brings us up to that nice long spine. And then roll it back down. That second one, same thing. And then nice and slow. Roll it on down. When you reach the mat, go ahead and pull those knees to the chest just for a moment. All right, awesome. We've got that elbow to knee, fingertips to toes, alternating sides again. So take those legs out nice and long. Pick that first side wherever you want to start. Again, from the hips or from the floor, either is fabulous. Elbow to knee, and then fingertips to toes. Keeping it moving, alternating sides. We've got just a few more minutes of work here. We are almost there. If I'm not wrong, I think we've got, less than 5 minutes. We are so close. Can you add that little bit of an extra challenge? Can you sit it up to those hips if you aren't already? For those last 2 reps. So one more time on each side for me here. Finish it out. When you're done, meet me in that glute bridge. So after those last 2, bend those knees, plant those feet, lift those hips. Find that activation pattern that I went through before. Really grind those feet into the floor. Place those palms down, press them down, press the back of the head in, squeeze the glutes, belly button in towards the spine. Nice big activation for that isometric activity. Nice. On your next exhale, go ahead and send those hips back down to the mat. We're going to roll it up to seated and take those legs out long. Last exercise from the floor is that alternating that hip flexor with those knees to chest. So lean it back as far as you'd like for that challenge. Starting with that right foot, it's coming up to the outside of that mat and back to center. Left foot up to the outside of that mat and back to center. And then knees in towards the chest. Use those hands for support if you need them. Amazing, amazing. From wherever you are, give me one more full set. So one more with the right, the left, and down the center. And then when you're done, find that fold. Whew. Let's take it up to kneeling. We've got one more tiny bit of work in our last 2 minutes of time in our session, and that's going to be that kneel to squat. This time, we're just going to do 4. We're going to do 2 on each side for the sake of time. Starting at that kneeling position, step 1 foot up, other foot up, add that hop if you'd like, and bring it back down. Just 2 for each leg, 2 leading with each leg. No need to add that hop if that does not feel good for you tonight. That is totally fine. On that last one, don't bring it back to kneeling. Keep it standing. Keep it standing. Whew. And when you're done with that last one, bring it your way back to the middle of that mat. We're going to do 1 lateral stretch in each direction. 1 final nice deep breath after that, and we will be done for the evening. So let's find our inhale to take those arms up. 1 arm down, other arm reaches up, lateral stretch. Inhale through center. The second side. Inhale up to center. Exhale, bring the arms down. Last nice deep breath, those palms meet up overhead. Inhale takes the step. Palms meet. Exhale pulls the hands down to heart center. Thank you for joining me this Wednesday evening. I hope you have a great rest of your night, great rest of your week. The light in me honors the light in you. Bowing as we say, namaste.